My name is Dr. Jotham Musinguzi. I am the Director General of the National Population Council. I'm going to take you through the journey of the National Population Council. The National Population Council started in 2015 when the Parliament, through an act, created the Council to supersede the original National Population Secretariat, formerly known as POPSEC. POPSEC itself started in the year 1988 as an offshoot from the Ministry of Finance then, and it started off as a small unit, and after that it's continued to grow, originally supported by UNFPA, but thereafter supported mainly by government of Uganda. And so the credit to this program also must recognize the role of the government of Uganda then. The other brief background to this is that the then National Population Secretariat was formed mainly as a result of the challenges, population and development challenges that were seen in the country, and those included a rapid rise in the population, but the rapid rise was also seeing also fertility was still very high, and people were dying, mortality was still high in the country. So the government thought it necessary to put in place an agency exclusively to deal with matters of population, and so that was the reason why this was created. The mission and vision and mandate of the then POPSEC was that to make sure that, for example, in terms of vision, it was to be a hub of distinction for promoting and coordinating population policies and programs in Africa. In other words, it should be the best in the continent. And the mission was to improve the quality of life of the people of Uganda by influencing government policies and programs to address population patterns and trends in a sustainable and inclusive manner. Included in this mission is to make sure that the population program will not discriminate against anybody, and especially vulnerable groups, and that was enshrined in the mission. And in terms of the objective of this, as I have said, the country was undergoing a number of things, both challenges but also some progress. In terms of progress, yes, the population was increasing. A population which increases is a good thing, and I think the head of state, President Museveni, has talked about this, that a rising population is a good thing. The important thing is to make sure as it grows, you are also making sure the quality of life of the people is also good. So the population should increase, and we welcome that, but make sure you are paying attention to the welfare of these people. What is the quality of your population? And so a lot of our activities in terms of then POPSEC and now the NPC is to make sure that we put the human being at the center of our programs. In other words, you cannot just be looking at these trends in terms of fertility, how many children are being born, or how many teenage pregnancies are there, how many children are getting married when they are still children. But you must also be looking at the welfare. What is the welfare of this particular individual? And people, not just numbers, but individuals. So that is at the back of whatever we do in this program. As we continue with this journey, we also want to look at, are there some achievements that the then POPSEC and now the National Population Council have we made some achievements? And the issue is really there have been a number of achievements. A number of achievements in terms of the quality of the population, the well-being of the people of Uganda, and this can be seen through some parameters. For example, if you look at the life expectancy, the number of years people in Uganda live, since 1991, it was like on average 43 years. But now we know it is 63 years. That is an increase of 20 years in one generation. This is a major achievement in terms of life expectancy of Ugandans. This life expectancy has also, we have also seen that poverty has declined. In 1991, poverty was very high. It was at 54%. In other words, in 1990, for every 2 Ugandans, 1 of them was living in poverty. This has changed over time. As we speak now, poverty level is at 21%, which is a tremendous improvement. Of course, nobody should be living in poverty. Even if 21% is high, but nonetheless, there has been some remarkable achievement there, and we want to continue to make sure this is on the journey. Of course, POPSEC and National Population Council are not the only ones who are contributing to this. There are obviously many sectors, the sectors of education, sectors in terms of the economy, the Ministry of Health, and others. All of these, agriculture, all of them are playing a role, but we want to recognize that in terms of human beings, the well-being of Ugandans is improving. It is also important for Ugandans to note that a population to increase is a very important aspect of our development. In 1991, the population was only 16.7 million people. As we speak now, today, we are approximately 47. We have added more than 30 million since then. This is a tremendous achievement. And as we have said, if the quality of the population is good, then we are obviously making very good progress. For those who may even want to know the significance of this increasing population, it means that more people are paying taxes. We can be able to finance our budgets to some extent so that you become less dependent on the foreigners. So this is an increasingly important aspect of our development. There are other achievements along the line, as I've mentioned, in the education sector. We see literacy rates have gone up. In 1990, literacy rate was only one out of 2 people were literate. But as we speak now, the literacy rate has gone over 75%. This again is another achievement. And we also know, if we go to the health sector, the health and well-being of Ugandans continues to improve. Nutrition is better. We still have pockets of areas which nutrition is still problematic, but we also know that the nutrition status of the people of Uganda continues to improve, and we want to continue working on this. Are there some challenges? Yes, for sure. When you make some achievements, there must be also some challenges along the line. I think our major challenge, as far as we are concerned, we at the National Population Council, as we move on our journey, we need to know that the population growth rate is not yet in tandem with our economic growth rate. We need to make sure we harmonize in that regard. Uganda is hoping to benefit from a demographic dividend. A demographic dividend is when the country has an economic benefit arising out of its increasing population. Uganda has a youthful population, and this youthful population can be an asset, but also, if we are not careful, it can be a challenge. So as we move forward, the challenge that really remains in the population field is to turn this youthful bulge into an economic benefit for the country. And that is going to require that we continue to invest in their health, in their education, in the creation of jobs, and so that they can get good employment, have savings, and then they can be the drivers of the economy along the line. This yet we have not yet achieved, and so this is really the remaining challenge of the future for the National Population Council. It is a challenge that we don't take lightly. It is a challenge that we are prepared to deal with, and it is a challenge that we must deliver to the people of Uganda. And I think that as we move forward, that is where our focus is going to be. Of course, we've gone through both the achievements and some of the challenges, but we also want to make sure that we recognize, as on this journey, we recognize the role of the National Population Council, the board that governs this. The board is headed by a chairperson, currently Professor Fred Mangeni Wabwire is the chairperson, and he has another 12 members on the board. They have been steering the affairs of National Population Council since 2015, and they have done a real commendable job. Amongst the things that they are proud to be bringing out is that, for example, we have a flagship publication called SUPRI, which is the State of Uganda's Population Report. This particular flagship publication brings out the major things that are happening in the country. It is produced every year. This has been done since 1998. Every year there is a production of this flagship publication, and the council is very, very proud about that. Similarly, we have got, under the leadership of the council, we have been working on a roadmap towards the harnessing the demographic dividend that we talked about. Uganda has that major roadmap to be able to make sure that we harness the roadmap of harnessing the demographic dividend, making sure that our young population becomes an economic engine for our growth. And we also recognize that under the leadership of the National Population Council, the Secretariat continues to integrate population factors in enrollment plans, of course working with the Ministry of Local Government, the National Planning Authority, and the other agencies mandated to do this. Under the work of advocacy, we do a lot of advocacy work, including not only bringing on top of the agenda of parliamentarians issues of population to make sure that even the parliament is aware about the challenges of this nation, but we also commemorate World Population Day every year with the different themes and going to different regions. Since 1987, when the world witnessed the 5th billion person on earth, the United Nations took a decision that countries should continue to celebrate every year on July 11th, the World Population Day. And the day is used globally to make sure that the population and development challenges of different countries, of different regions are highlighted. And for us in Uganda, we decided as a country to also do our own theme by prioritizing those issues that we think are important. So we pick a district in a certain region, and then we bring leaders together, leaders in that region and that district, and together we bring to their attention the most important challenges in terms of population and enrollment. And we spend about a week before the World Population Day itself, and we are able to make sure that we engage these leaders so that they are able to prioritize the challenges in population and development which they have in their own districts, in their own region. In this year, the World Population Day was commemorated in the Lango region, particularly in Aleptong, and this was July 11th, and His Excellency the President was invited to be the chief host. He eventually delegated the Vice President who represented him on the day. And the day was very colorful. It was very well attended. We worked with the district leaders who were very wonderful in the participation, in engaging their local stakeholders. But we also had our own stakeholders that we engaged at a national level. And I want to use this occasion to thank the people of Aleptong and the people of Lango sub-region who hosted us and welcomed us and participated in this day, whose theme was prioritizing education, preventing school dropouts, and improving household incomes. And as you can see, this is in line with the government policies at the moment. The National Planning Authority is also making sure that all sectors are able to prioritize these issues of household incomes. And so that is why we also thought it fit to make sure that that was the topic for the theme for this year's World Population Day. Taking it from there, let me also thank very sincerely our partners, especially not only that the district hosted us very well, but also the other partners we had, including UNFPA, the United Nations Population Fund, which works with us on behalf of the UN family, and we had very close collaboration with them. We also want to thank the Embassy of the Netherlands, which was also with us there, and they worked with us tremendously. We also involved other stakeholders like Maristops, RH Uganda, and others. So we want really to thank them for their participation and for the contribution they continue to make to the population program. As we move forward as the NPC would like to see that the fertility in Uganda continues to come down. As our population increases, we want to make sure that the rate of increase is moderated so that it's in tandem with the economy. And the way to do that is to make sure that fertility continues to come down. Fertility is the number of children produced by women, and we would like this one to go to about 4 children per woman. We also do not want to get into the problem of the Western world where we find people are not producing enough children for the country to move forward. But we also want to recognize that fertility, when it is very high, it has its own problems in terms of health care for both the women and the children, but also increased mortality. So the question of making sure we bring down the total fertility is extremely important, and we would like really to see that happening, and that is also the main purpose of the roadmap to harnessing the demographic dividend in Uganda. Having said that, we want to recognize that these things cannot be achieved without the strong leadership in the country, and we want to, at the outset, to thank His Excellency President Museveni for his continued interest and strong words regarding the way we should manage our population. I think he has been a guiding star in this, and we want to continue thanking him, and we want to appeal to him to continue having a keen interest in the direction of the population of Uganda. We also want to thank the Parliament for the good work they continue to do with us in terms of advocacy. For example, I have talked about when we were in the Lango sub-region, the members of Parliament were going around trying to see what is happening in the region, what are the possible challenges there, so that when they come to meet and appropriate the budget, they are also aware about the real challenges on the ground, and we want to applaud their own leadership in this regard. We can't, of course, in this journey, we cannot forget the role of the Minister of Finance as they continue to support the population program by making sure that we have adequate funding to be able to provide the necessary tools for the people of Uganda to manage our population. I also would like to remind the country that we have a national population policy whose main thrust is to make sure that as the population grows, the various segments of it, the structure of the population is appropriate, and that we are paying attention to the most important aspects of our population. And we have had a revision of the policy. The first policy was in 1993. This was revised to have a second policy in 2008. And more recently, in 2020, we have the third version of the national population policy. And all these issues are contained in there. The importance of population policy is to make sure that you are following up on the trends, both locally, but also take into account regional and continental as well as global issues of population enrollment. Let me remind the country that as we speak now, the world population has reached 8 billion people. It reached this last year, November 15th. The world hit the 8 billion people. And currently, Uganda, we have moved, as I have said before, In 1991, we were 16.7 million. We have now moved. We estimate that currently the population is 47 million, and the UBOS, which has the mandate to do the censuses, is in the process of doing this. So soon we shall be knowing the exact figure, and we also know that it is estimated that by 2025, Uganda's population will have hit the 50 million mark. So the country is on the move in terms of its population growth, and moving from 16 million people in 1990 to 50 million by 2025 is also another achievement. And as I conclude, I also want to thank UBC, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. It has been with us. It was with us at the World Population Day in Aliptong. But they also were able to do a lot of coverage. They were able to go in the communities and look at the activities which are there, but also to bring out both the achievements and the remaining challenges that we must be able to look at. So UBC, we want to thank you. And the journey has been long with us, and we want to appeal that we continue to do this so that the people of Uganda can be able to benefit from the work that is going on. I would like to thank the council, the board that governs the National Population Council, its the senior staff and management, and all the staff of the National Population Council who are behind these achievements and who have to deal with the challenges going forward. With that, I say all of this for God and my country.